Xerófilo.
Hello, my friends. I'm Mike DiVerde. I'm one of a group of people looking for ways that might address the homelessness crisis and simultaneously climate change. What I'm going to discuss today are the phases that Xerófilo is planning to combat desertification in Brazil's semi-arid northeast biome, the Caatinga. We're thinking that Xerófilo can be expected to have three major phases. The first phase is to do some pilot experimental plots to try out different types of water catchment designs and combinations of plant species. The second phase involves a full-scale project that should result in a permanent orchard and a permanent agroforestry farm that can support the initial Xerófilo co-op. This would be expected to be on a project that's on a property that's on the order of 50 hectares. The third phase is relatively open-ended, with the expectation that the methodology developed in the second phase could be expanded to an unlimited area of the Caatinga. We're thinking that Xerófilo should start with a trial or experimental phase. You might wonder why this is necessary. After all, efforts to restore the Caatinga have been underway for a long time, and there are some successes. But it appears that the truth is the vast majority of reforestation attempts fail. Some might be due to poor planning. Some might be due to bad luck. Some might be due to funding shortfalls. I think that most suffer under a brutal series of long droughts that occasionally strike. We'll consider in more depth the major obstacles that Xerófilo must prepare for in the next episode. Xerófilo might be initially located just north of the São Francisco River, around the region between Petrolina and Petrolina. We'll also be north of the many irrigated fields of coconut palm orchards that depend on the river's abundance. We want to demonstrate a system that is successful using only rainfall, as meager as it might be. Now, some areas of the Caatinga receive 500 to 700 millimeters or more of rainfall, and projects that are established there could be quite successful. But you can see that Petrolina area sometimes only gets 100 millimeters. That's 4 inches, folks. So we want to run some trials on a very small scale because there is a good chance of failure. It is just a very difficult challenge. And when we run these trials, we want to simultaneously try a variety of combination of plant species and soil amendments and microfertigation schemes. We plan a design of experiments. And some of this will be quite technical. So in remote regions with no or spotty electrical power or telecommunications, we will want independent electrical power from solar panels and dependable satellite communications. We cannot have a large crew of scientists located at the site. We want to tap the world's expertise for this challenge. So we will want data acquisition from a small weather station and a webcam. We need to get this tech installed and gather data as we proceed. A small site is much easier to instrument than a large agroforestry farm. The second phase involves a large-scale project, a full-scale project. It should result in a permanent orchard and a permanent agroforestry farm that can support the initial Xerófilo co-op. This would be expected to be a project on a property that is on the order of 50 hectares. The image here shows an example site. It is adjacent to land that was degraded by a very large federal construction project that built a canal to divert some of the San Francisco River water to grape vineyards. There were two of these canals built over a 200-kilometer stretch. The disturbed land is required to be restored, which might represent a business opportunity if we are able to demonstrate a scaling up of our experimentally proven system. The area is conveniently adjacent to a paved road, which is not the rule in the countryside of western Pernambuco. The area is near the San Francisco River, which represents a potential shipping route as trucks and trains struggle with the dearth of infrastructure in the region's hinterland. The area is close to the small town of Petrolina. The area is devoid of any homes or farms. The area appears to be badly degraded. However, there is a very small dry creek bed that ends in a very small pond at the bottom of a local depression. This has potential as a starting point for a series of retention ponds. I've noted many similar areas dotted throughout the Caatinga. This worthless, abandoned, unproductive, desolate, degraded area would be a terrific challenge to restore. Let's start with something like this. The third phase is relatively open-ended, with the expectation that the methodology developed in the second phase could be expanded to an unlimited area of the Caatinga. We can discuss this end state in a later episode, as it is highly speculative. But this full-strength version of Xerófilo is the ultimate goal. After all, there are 100,000 square kilometers to restore. In the next episode, we'll discuss some of the major obstacles to success.
Xerófilo